another episode of Off the Carousel. And boy,
This
we have the return of Chris Mack, the Field of 68 alum, who we basically, honestly, without us, there's no way you're back in coaching. I mean, admit it. We are responsible for your return to college coaching.
Yeah, because you never paid me. And so in order for me to support my family, I had to find a job. You know, most people thought Field of 68 was a job. It was a thankless job, and it was a volunteer job, at least for me. I'm sure the other guys got paid.
I mean, I can't believe you left the media business after, 2 years like this. You were a rising star. I think somebody actually anointed you as a rising star in the media. They obviously weren't paying attention. All right, so how about this? On November 4th, when you make your return to coaching, which will be in our event in the Field of 68 season opener in Sioux Falls against Southern Illinois, it will have been 1,031 days since you were last on the sideline coaching. Is that crazy?
It's not true.
Is that wrong? My math's wrong.
St. Mary Academy, right? Second grade basketball. Like I've had some battles, man, some battles. Yeah, it'll be the first time you've probably got the number of days correct. I don't really have a calendar out like marking down how many days it's been, but it's been a while.
First of all, what was the reason you came back, Chris? Because I don't know if you were sure you would come back. I mean, obviously it's been a couple years. What was the main reason why you decided, hey, you know what, I want to come back now and for the College of Charleston?
I think it's what I do best. I missed it. I think, the first year or so, it was a great refresher to get away, to be quite honest. I mean, the day in, day out of constantly being attached to your phone, worrying about the next issue, all the things that go into it behind the scenes. It's not just game night, what everybody gets to enjoy. It's everything else under the sun. But ultimately, I missed it. Spending time with guys like you, doing games, watching games, visiting a lot of practices, colleagues, friends of mine. I wanted to get back into it. But, while Charleston, it was the right place, man. It's such a great spot for so many reasons. And, we lived remotely over the last year. You've been to the house. It was great for Christy and I, right on the Gulf, enjoying the water. But for Braden and being in an environment, an area that we really didn't have many friends, didn't really know many people. I just wanted him to be also in a place that he could enjoy his childhood years like my other two girls did growing up. And so Charleston provides so much in terms of the family atmosphere and the family part of it. So once that box is checked, then you start to look at the history of Charleston, how much they've won, the job Kelce did. There's just so many coaches that have done, such good things here. It just, a lot of things fit for me.
What's it like now to have to work again? I mean, you were like a stay-at-home dad for 2.5 years. I mean, you had it pretty good, right? You'd work out most days, go get your Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. I mean, you had the life.
I actually made my Dunkin' Donut coffee in the morning, which was a change.
You are frugal. Hey, you are frugal. We know that.
But it was a change from always going on the way to work. And I had more time to sort of spend around the house. So, it was definitely something I thought heavily about, like to just say, hey, I'm going to get back into it. It's a complete lifestyle change. I went from 24/7 at Louisville to zero responsibility, to not having to even look at my phone if I didn't want to for a couple of days. And so I knew that getting back into it was going to be a complete lifestyle change, but I also was excited about that and ready for it. And, I don't play golf. I mean, I like to play, but I'm terrible. And so it wasn't like I was spending my days, doing something that I enjoyed as much.
What were you doing? What were you doing most days? Like legitimately, when I call you, I don't know, it seemed like you were just kind of hanging and I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about being retired. You can do whatever the hell you want to do and not have to answer for it,
Oh, you had to answer. Wait. Christy made you answer for it at times.
What's that?
I said Christy made you answer for it at times.
No. Hey, listen, man. Well, I'm not even going to go down that line, right? Listen, man, I had a great time, man. I really enjoyed just being stress free. And so, I mean, a few of the things I followed both of our daughters in volleyball, right? I have Lainey, who's a freshman in college going into her sophomore year. She played at Flagler, a Division II school in St. Augustine. That, you know, I love going, you know, weekends and spending time there. It's a great city if you haven't been there. You know, went with a couple friends of ours and just hung out, went to restaurants, watched her play. Did the same thing with my middle one, Haley, who was at IMG this past year. She was still in club volleyball. And so, you know, traveling to those tournaments on weekends. You know, she'll be at Vanderbilt in the fall, playing volleyball, and spending time with my son, you know, being able to throw football with him for more than 10 minutes without looking at my watch or looking at the phone. You know, he was playing, you know, sports in Florida. And so I got to, you know, spend some time helping him in basketball, and not helping him so much in football, but watching. You know, and other than that, man, I'll be honest with you. I took up cooking. You know, I've done a lot in the kitchen, man. I know how to cook.
So what's your go-to now? If somebody asks you, what's your go-to?
I'll be honest. I don't really have a go-to. I'm not scared to put anything together. You know, like TikTok's a monster. You know, you can learn anything on TikTok, and if you know, you look up, I don't know, chicken tetrazzini, and you see a video and you don't like it, it's confusing, you just go to the next one. You just next one. Oh, this one's pretty easy to follow. You follow it, and I'm not scared anymore in the kitchen, man. And so figuring out when everything can come out at the right time and, you know, of good taste. Yeah, I did that. You know, the place I lived at had so much vegetation and so many different things that grow out of control in Florida. So I did a lot of landscaping. We survived a hurricane, so I had even more landscaping to do. And so I figured out how to spend my time, and I'm not apologizing for it, man. It was a great couple of years.
So you talked about the taste. All right. So the bitter taste of how it ended at Louisville. How much did that eat at you to get back in? How much was that a part still of, hey, you know what? I'm not going out this way. I want to go out on my own terms, winning, because all you had ever known before the last couple of years was winning.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. We didn't lose at Louisville. You know, like the last year was, you know, a shit show for many reasons. You know, you learn from that stuff. But yeah, as a competitor, certainly, man, that bothered me. I wouldn't say it ate at me, you know, like I did want to go out way better than it felt at the time at the end of Louisville. But you know, I talked a lot to my wife. I wasn't going to be bitter about the whole situation. You know, it's just it doesn't help you as a person grow, right? It doesn't, you know, living with bitterness in anything in your life. And so I'm better because of it. And it was a hard time for a variety of reasons, but I wouldn't have got back into it if I wasn't ready and excited, and not cynical about the business. You know, with NIL, with portal, right. I think a lot of my colleagues, right, they just, it's like death by inches. They keep having to deal with it, keep having to deal, and just it becomes frustrating, and you know, guys get upset, and believe me, I do too. But having that couple year break from it, knowing what I was getting back into, right? And I'm not at Kentucky. I'm not at Duke. I get that. But we have a tradition, and we have NIL, and we have expectations. And I wouldn't want to be at a place that didn't. So that's I'm in a good place, and I'm excited about, you know, where our program's at and where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing. You never, I mean, honestly, you kind of move forward after that. You really didn't look back on Louisville and like the what if. You didn't play the what if game or any of that. It was just kind of like, all right, I'm going to try to live my best life now, you know, day by day.
If I ever had any of those days, you know, I promise you they were internal. Like I was never going to like open up to friends and say, can you believe this situation? I just feel like if I were the listener to that, I'd be like, man, a bunch of excuses, right? It's like, come on, man.
Well, even how you handled it at the end of Louisville. I mean, I remember seeing the interview of you in front of the practice facility in Louisville and all the, all the media people coming up to you, and there were no excuses. You were just like, hey, listen, I love my time here. And it didn't come across as phony, because I do think, listen, when you look at it, and how many years ago was it? You're an assistant at Xavier. Sean leaves for Arizona. You get that opportunity at Xavier. And then you get an opportunity to coach at Louisville, where, again, your wife grew up. You probably never thought in a million years you'd have that opportunity. You're probably still looking at it as, hey, I'm pretty fortunate to get these opportunities.
Yeah, and I think hindsight is always 2020. I thought at the time that I took the job that we would be through with all of the sanctions and looming sanctions and all the issues. I thought that would be over with in the first 12 months. Was I promised that? No, it's a short courting period, 48 hours. You got a decision to make, right? But I got the pervasive feeling that this is all going to be over within a year. And so answering to recruits the first 6 months, 7 months, hey, we're going to be fine. But like when you're dealing with that in your fourth year and you're still talking about impending sanctions and, people are gossiping about the death penalty and saying this to your recruits, man, it got tiresome. And that was penalty enough for the University of Louisville. Without even getting penalized, they were penalized.
How will you be different? Like, how did this almost 3-year time off, how did this change you at all, if at all, as a coach?
I don't think I'm going to be much different. I don't. I think that I'm very confident in how I coach. I'm very confident in bringing players together and sharing a vision and getting them to believe in it and execute it. I think that the time's different, man. The portal, right? NIL, that stuff. I'm learning, but I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that's learning. Right. I'm sure there's a coach every day that picks up the phone and says, would you believe this? And, the new story kind of thing. So, I'm going to be different in the fact that I'm really excited. I'm really refreshed. I've got a lot of ideas, got to harness them and make sure that I'm not teaching 458 different things, right? Be more streamlined and I'm excited to do that.
What do you got? How many guys did you retain from last year's team? 1, 2?
3 scholarship.
Okay.
And 3 walk-ons.
So,
Actually,
again,
2 walk-ons.
2 walk-ons. The good thing, if there's a positive of looking at it, you say to yourself, all right, yeah, we have the majority of our guys that are different, and I'm different. But you look around the league, you look around the country, very few, even coaches that have been there for a while, are keeping the brunt of their team, right? Like most guys are losing half of your team every year now. If you retain more than 50%, you're probably doing something right in a way, especially if you won, the year before. I'm going
to spit a fact to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Out of the top 25 CAA players from a year ago, through graduation or through portal, how many of those 25 do you think are remaining?
I would say of the top 25, give me 8. Wow. That's crazy.
I got him on my team.
Is that right? Both of them. That's
Ante Burcevic, CJ Fulton.
That's crazy.
Not that there aren't good players left in the league, sure, right? They all take on different roles, but out of the top 25 best offensive players in our league, 23 of them either graduated or graduated to the portal.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We are going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay booster too from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, I mean, Ante was huge, keeping him, and Fulton obviously being there last year and being a veteran point guard is going to help as well. How crazy was it? Because you worked pretty quick when you got the job. I don't remember what it was like from the day you got hired till the day you pretty much filled out your team of 13, but it was fairly quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a little bit after May, so we were in the beginning part of May was just one more guy. So really we were at 11 scholarship players, which we're now at 12, probably by May 1st, May 2nd, somewhere around that area. So in 30 days, and again, a lot of people talk poorly of the portal, right? And I think there's pros and cons to it, but we had 10 official visits and we had 9 commitments, and it wasn't like those had to be strung out on 6-week, 8-week, 2-year recruitments. It's I'm not a bad recruiter when I don't have to recruit a guy for a week or two. It's the 2-year stuff.
That's right. That's right.
My goodness,
they don't see your warts like we did.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect analogy. I'm not bad on the first or second date.
All I'll say is, listen, not many people can screw up visits to Charleston. That's all I'll say. It's like that city, I'm gonna be down there soon, whether you want me or not. I'm coming.
Great.
Yeah, I know. You're gonna have me all winter too. I mean, think of what that's gonna be like when I get a key to your office for this season. Like, how are you gonna handle this?
We'll be meeting in another coach's office or in the conference room. We will not be meeting in my office if that's the case.
Because here's the problem. When we're going to rent this winter again and try to find something to buy, but
is this about Charleston basketball or is this about Jeff Goodman's travels?
This is actually me trying to make sure I have your office to do the late night Field of 68 show, because if we're renting, I'm kind of worried. I'm loud. I know I'm loud. And if it's like, a duplex or something like that, I feel bad for the neighbors, whoever's next to me, if we have that. So I want to lock that in now that I can use your office from 11 o'clock till 12:30 to be able to do after dark some nights.
I got you. You're renting a duplex?
No, I don't know that yet. I don't know.
Gotta have you step up for once and get a place by yourself where it's
house
on the water, right?
Not everybody makes
your house. You got all the equity you need. Like, spend a little money, Goodman.
Not everybody makes Chris Mack money. Okay, not everybody's as fortunate. All right, not everybody had your paycheck at Louisville.
I appreciate that.
And put that money away. Give me your favorite restaurant so far in Charleston. Have you gotten out?
It's probably really unfair because, when I got here, Kyle Denzel, our associate AD, he gave me a list of literally 50 restaurants, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I've probably only been to 3 of them. So to single somebody out and say, "Oh, you got to eat here," I'm going to have the locals like screaming like this guy has no idea. And I don't have an idea. I did like High Cotton. I thought that was a really good place. I like the place Coast. Really cool vibe, right? Good seafood.
There's a breakfast spot called Miller's All Day, right? You have to go for Sean and Archie. It's right on King Street.
Number one, I didn't know. Number
Good spot.
two, I'm sure at some point. So my wife's finally getting to town. It's been 2.5 months. She arrives tonight. So I think our dinners out and stuff like that is going to begin once again. Yeah, it'll step up and we'll go some good places and we'll do some variety. That's the hard part about Charleston, man. It's like you might find a favorite restaurant, but you're really doing yourself a disservice if you keep going to the same one over and over because it's amazing the places here.
That's the hardest part of us being there for like 2 months the last couple of years is because every night you go out because you're like, I got to get to all of them. I get to all of them. And the other bad part is, you know, the banana pudding every night doesn't do it. Yeah, the money, and then
not cheap.
You come back about 15 pounds heavier. That's the bigger issue right now.
Hey, try going 10 official visits in 2.5 weeks. I mean, we ate at Hall's Chop House. I mean, we were eating big breakfast, big lunch, big dinner, literally every other day, if not every day, for 2.5 weeks. I mean, I looked at myself and I said, I need to see a cardiologist. I've got issues. I got issues, man.
Hey, what's the biggest piece of advice that you've gotten from, I assume you talked to Pat Kelce, who was on your staff, who you've known since you guys were kids, basically. Is there a piece of advice he gave you to navigate this job specifically?
Not really. I mean, I obviously talked to Pat, but there wasn't like one specific thing that like, hey, you need to do this or you need to do that. He was just, he talked about the incredible support of so many people that's really pushed this program, you know, for 50 plus years, over the last 50 years since Coach Kress, the tradition, you know, the former players, but that just the amount of people that care about Charleston basketball, whether they're natives of here or not. There's so many people, as you know, that have moved here in their later years and just adopted Charleston as their team. And we welcome that. And he just said, you'd be surprised. And not that I've been surprised because he gave me forewarning, but it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, you also, and I'll say this, I mean, you also have one of the best athletic directors in the country. And I'm sure you know that by now, right?
Big part of the decision. You know,
Matt Roberts is listen, there are a lot of athletic directors. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's true. Matt Roberts is like a normal dude. He's just like he just gets it in every way. I honestly, I don't want to say this because, you know,
but
I'm going to say it that like somebody should hire him at the high major level in a heartbeat. He's that good. He is that good. And, you know, it went quickly with you again, when he reached out to you. I'm not sure he thought that you were going to jump at it, but it moved quickly. And a big part of that, you know, again, you know how important it is to have an athletic director that you're aligned with.
Yeah.
How much did that figure into it?
It was a lot. I mean, it was not just the athletic director, but President Shu, who obviously isn't maybe in the sports athletic limelight like Matt is. You know, I would say that, you know, hearing from different people in the industry, how respected he is. It helped that I was at Field of 68, you know, the tournament down at FAU that we're going to have this year at Charleston. It helped just putting a face to a name at the time, you know, when we did the interview with Matt and how he was really the initiator with you guys of getting the event off the ground. And so I had a comfort zone from like minute one on the telephone. And I felt, you know, he said this, hey, this isn't a search. This is a targeted search. And, you know, every coach has an ego. Every coach doesn't want to feel like they're going through 7 Zooms and, you know, hey, we'll whittle it down. And, you know, you feel like you're on The Bachelor. He said, I want you to be our coach. And that was really welcoming. And then, you know, just hearing what Charleston basketball means to the community, the support that Matt gives, what he does around donors and what he does to make this program elevate itself. He's done an incredible job. And I've heard nothing but even more of that kind of stuff since I've taken the job. And so it's been really reassuring, and he's very, very easy to work with.
How ready are you like for that first game, November 4th, and to get back?
Not very ready, man.
That's what I was going to ask though. Like obviously you got this new team, you're working them out now. You don't know any of these dudes. I mean, I don't know how much time you spent with them so far, as we record this on June 19th here. Like, are you ready? In a way, I assume you're ready. You want to get back on the sidelines in a way and get that or get real practices in. But you also know how long you have to go with this group because you're throwing a group together that, again, they don't know you, they don't know each other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited about that moment in time, but there's too much stuff that we have to get done between now and then, and it's not going to be perfect. We're going to have some bumps in the road, and that's okay, man. You learn from those. But since June 2nd, when the guys arrived, and we did some Zoom work in May just to try to connect one another and get to learn about each other before we all got together in person in one big unit and one big group. But no, it's you always talk about, like, we got to stack days and every day is important, but man, you really feel that, like June, I have felt has never been more important for me than this June, because even at Louisville, when I took over a program, it was like, that first time with your players is, but if you have a nucleus of guys, 7 or 8, they've been bonded together. They've been around one another. They know who can do what.
Yep. When
you walk in, it's like all these fresh faces. Guys are learning from one another. But we've got a really high character group of guys. I think they're here for the right reasons. I think we have some really good players. So it's just a matter of using all the time that we have most productive way we can to try to get ready for that opener.
I mean, the college basketball season hopefully is going to start with your game, with Chris Mack's return to college basketball after, 1,031 days off. How about that? It's kind of cool. I also, I hope we're going to get good access here. Like, if we don't get good access, something's wrong. Like, I want to be interviewing you throughout the game multiple times. Like that. Like, I want to sit next to you on the bench. There should be something here.
That's not happening. All that access stuff, that wasn't in the contract, Goodman, just so you know.
Give me your favorite story, your favorite Field of 68 story of working with us the last 2 years. Is there anything that stood? I mean, we had a lot of funny moments, whether it was working, ripping on Doster, working with Fana, probably ripping on me. Is there anything that stood out?
I think the one of the funniest times I had, it was like, you see those anchors on, on YouTube videos that they can't keep their composure. They just keep laughing. And when Douster talked about, could you survive like a grizzly bear or something with Hansbrough? And like, I was expecting this, hey, I'm a guy, I'll try, like he was running straight the opposite way to Mother Nature. He was like, you don't fool around with it. Like, it was almost like Douster was a kid at Yellowstone. He's like, hey, stay behind the ropes. You don't mess with Mother Nature. And like, I couldn't believe that this guy who I watched rip people's faces off in the ACC didn't have more of like a, he took the question very literal, like a bear inside his kitchen. I'm like, dude, if he's going to maul you, you got to go down swinging, right?
Tyler,
I couldn't.
Tyler knew the odds. The odds were like, maybe I can outrun this thing and climb a tree as opposed to like battling this bear.
I thought that was a classic to me, man. That was funny.
Yeah, Hansborough's a right. Like, I mean, that's the cool thing about Tyler.
But he's not necessarily. No, he's not the life of the party.
No.
He's a good dude, but like just the way he went on and on
his
about
delivery.
Tyler's
delivery is elite. And again, the cool part is, listen, this is the cool part to me of what we've been able to do in a way, right? Like, if I had told you, and you coached with Sean Miller, you coached with him for years. If I had ever told you that Sean Miller would be a part of the media and we'd have him a part of, with Archie, by the way, neither one of them, the most media friendly coaches in the world. They really, and not because like they don't like the media, just because they are ball coaches, and that's all they are. And we had them on, and Tyler Hansbrough, again, a guy that could care less, like couldn't care less
Yeah.
about the media part of it when he was a player. So, and getting you on, listen, getting you on was not easy. It was not an easy task. And because you really didn't want to do it at first at all. And I think
No.
you like it.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want it. I didn't want to do a not good enough job, you know, because I know how much it means to guys like you and Rob and all the guys that are on there. And, you know, for me, I wasn't doing it for a full-time job. You know, if I wanted to go, you know, watch my daughter's volleyball match, I didn't want to be, oh my gosh, I got to hurry up and get the NC State Carolina game on, or I'm not going to be able to talk really well about it. You know, so I wanted to bring a good product to Field of 68, which I think I did there.
You did. You slowly got better and better.
Oh,
and better
thanks.
as we went on. As we went on, and as you realized that, hey, I might want to coach again. Maybe I'll start watching a few more games.
Yeah,
get
probably
into this thing. That certainly helped, right? That certainly helped.
Yeah, it gets you into it for sure.
Well, listen, it's great to have you back. Number one in coaching.
Great to be back.
It's been way too long, to be honest, of a layoff, and it'll be good once I get down there in October. Like I said, I feel like I have like a second apartment down there.
Gym doors will be locked. Just let me know when you get to town. Gym doors will be locked. I'll meet you at home.
I'm going through Matt Roberts. I'm not going through you. I'm going through Matt. He's got to have the master key or something. So just be careful what you leave in your office. Be careful.
There's not a whole lot right now, man. I've had time to hire staff and get portal guys. I haven't really got time to decorate. So hopefully it looks a little bit more like your studio in the background by the time you come here with a little bit more decoration in the office.
All right, there you have it. New Charleston head coach Chris Mack off the carousel.